If it's Wednesday, it's Hump Day Hangover. Greetings everyone, I'm Bart, and today's episode is You Are Your Own Brand. So, grab yourself a cup of coffee, or join in with a cocktail, and let's get started. This is Hump Day Hangover. And welcome to all our new viewers, and for those of you who are returning, welcome back. And today's episode features and talks about being your own brand. And one of the things I've talked about many times here is the mantra of what comes to mind when someone mentions your name. That is your brand. So take a moment, and I want you to think about the various leaders or managers or supervisors that you have worked for. And when you think about those people, what comes to mind? Well, they may or may not be aware of what that is. But guess what? They have to own it. Because you see, what does come to mind is what your brand is all about. From your point of view, that is who they are. That is their brand. Go back a few years to, I say, 5th grade or high school and think about some really tough teachers you had. What comes to mind when you think about them? Well, at the time, the brand may have been you just didn't like that person, or they were too tough, or they were mean. They made you stay up all night cramming and going on, but today you might realize, wow, they taught me a pretty valuable lesson. And that was a tough road, but guess what? I made it through it. So whether it was a teacher or a boss or a leader, people that push you past your comfort zone, those are the people that you remember as the people who really truly care and push you to do harder. If someone is not willing to challenge you, I'm willing to challenge you to say that person is not someone who really cares about you. Because if they did, they would want you to be a better you. So how do you do this? How do you become that better person? Well, to be that better person, we're going to call that person a person of influence. And there's 3 significant characteristics you must adopt in order to be a person of influence. The first one, you've got to commit to being a lifelong learner. Feed your mind with everything possible you can feed it. There's amazing things out on YouTube. There's podcasts. There's articles you can read. There's blogs you can get involved in. There's extra courses you can take to become that person of interest by being a lifelong learner. Secondly, I want you to embrace your creative side. Now for me, that's not a problem. You can look around my studio here and you can see that creativity is a big part of my life. So I have to kind of balance that with the more analytical. But for you, I want you to really embrace your creative side. You might say, well, Bart, I don't have a creative bone in my body. Yeah, you do. Think about something if you go downstairs to eat and you can't find anything to eat, so you just put stuff together and it turns out pretty good. Well, guess what? That's being creative. And the third thing I want you to do is to find yourself a mentor, a coach, and or an accountability partner. You need to have someone in your life who can help you become the best version of yourself. You need to have someone to reach out and to become a greater person. You know, Les Brown teaches us if you are the smartest, wealthiest person in your group, well, guess what? You're in the wrong group. Let's go back and talk about learning for just a moment. Learning should not stop when traditional school ends. I want you to actively seek opportunities to increase your knowledge base. Actively search for ways to improve your life. And odds are, everyone you know has something to teach you. But it's up to you to allow them to do so. Now, the way we learn may be formal, informal, self-directed. With the technology we have today, it's amazing what you can learn. In daily interactions with social media and the media and with technology, is just a plethora of opportunities to discover ways within our own small world in which to learn. Research does show that self-learning is the most beneficial and the most sustainable. And I will add to that, experiential learning is even more beneficial. If you did not know how to drive a nail into a board and someone taught you, you got to practice that. That's experiential learning. If I were to bring a bicycle up to you and set it in your driveway or on your sidewalk, and you haven't ridden a bike in 30 years, you could probably still ride a bike because you learned how. But if I were to try to speak to you in Spanish, I would not be very good at it. Again, look for those. Actively engage in that learning process and make that commitment to implement what you learn. And that's when your journey of self-improvement really starts to take off. Creative outlet. Enrich your learning through rewarding yourself with a creative outlet. Again, reward yourself with a creative outlet. Because when you do, it brings into balance all the aspects of who you are and all the aspects and potentialities of who you can become. As you indulge yourself in self-expression, your brand begins to build and multiply. And then finally, think about your favorite athlete, your favorite musician, or your favorite performer. What do they have in common that you may not? Well, the obvious may be money, it may be talent, but the correct answer is they have a coach and a mentor. When Tom Brady steps on the field every Sunday, there's a coach on the sideline. Before Adele walks onto her stage, she has a vocal coach that works with her. Before any athlete does any work, they've got someone working with them. So why don't you? Because you see, the most successful people in this world, even the Richard Bransons and the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Oprah Winfreys, they all have mentors. They all have coaches. They all have accountability partners. Oprah will tell you that Gayle King is not only her best friend, but she's also her accountability partner. She challenges her to be a better Oprah. Now, if you're the smartest again and wealthiest person in your group, you're in the wrong group. You're not going to grow much at all. So look and challenge yourself at how you can change all that up. Allow yourself to be encouraged, inspired, and mentored by people much larger, much bigger than yourself. Because those are the people that you're really going to learn from. Everyone, absolutely everyone, needs a mentor to produce results that exceed the ordinary. So choose to surround yourself with those who are committed to succeeding in the fields that interest you. You set yourself up for success when you do that, as well as you increase your ability to mentor others. One of my favorite commercials on television right now is a Nike commercial that says, "Don't let people tell you that your dreams are crazy. Ask yourself, are they crazy enough?" And that's what you've got to do. So as you see what comes to mind when you mention your name, that is the brand you are projecting. If you think you're not worthy, no one else will either. So ask yourself, what comes to mind when you mention your name? Now, today's lesson, as with all, come from my best-selling book, My Moment to Succeed. Go out to Amazon.com. You'll see a link there, or go to my website, gogetbart.com. Click on the link there. Order my book. I'll personalize it as well as autograph it for you. And remember, when things get tough or things get sad, just dance. You cannot not be more productive and happier than when you're dancing. Take a look at our journaling activities for the week. First of all, list those wins. List the wins you experienced today. Then ask yourself, who are the leaders, bosses, teachers that impacted you? What was it about them that made an impression? How committed are you to lifelong learning? And how often do you embrace and challenge your creative side? Do you have a mentor, coach, accountability partner? If not, who is it going to be? And finally, what comes to mind when you mention your name? Now, today's Bartism comes from one of my dearest friends and one of my accountability partners, all the way from down under in Australia, from Ocean Grove, Australia, and that's Helen Savage. And here's what Helen teaches the people she works with: to believe in yourself and what you're doing, and it will happen. And don't forget that gratitude list. List 3 to 5 things you're grateful for. And thank you for spending a few moments with me this Wednesday. Hit that subscribe button below. Click the bell next to it to make sure you get your notifications. Go out to my website, gogetbart.com. At the bottom in the footnotes, you will see all of my links to social media. Follow me there. And of course, visit the Success Store. And once again, what comes to mind when someone mentions your name? That is your brand. So until next Wednesday, this has been Hump Day Hangover. Ciao!